What's cracking, my fellow escapists? It's your boy Cypress, and welcome back to another video going over my game, where today it's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to talk about everything that I've done in the past 2 weeks. Those can be in subsequent videos. I'm going to talk more about two major topics. So in the last video, I talked about how I began implementing multiplayer into FLO. And I left off going over a bug that I was dealing with, where the camera of each player would go ahead and flirt with the other virtual cameras in the scene. So you could log into the game, but your camera would be the default of the camera of whatever last player logged into the game. That's a no-go. And in this video, I'm going to go over what happened with that and talk a little bit more about the concept of the game itself. But before we get into all that, come on, you know what's about to happen. I've done it in like 6 videos at this point. I'm gonna have to hit you with that sub button, that unclicked sub button. Smack that jaw and let me know you like what we got going on in this channel, baby. So in the last video, I left off with 3 possible solutions to fix the issue at hand with the camera, and those 3 things were to put a photon view on the virtual cam in the prefab. The second one was to deactivate all virtual cams that were not local to the client. And the third one was to manually set the Cinemachine Brain's target value on the virtual cam so that the target would always be the character of the prefab. Can you guess which solutions worked? Neither can I, because I only used one and it worked perfectly. It was actually the simplest and most straightforward solution, which was to deactivate all virtual cams that were not local to the client. That wasn't all there was to it though. I also had to deactivate the actual cameras that were not local, so there wouldn't be 2 audio listeners in a scene when a second player spawns. This was actually no more than 2 lines of code. Here in the start method of a destroy non-local camera script, I simply destroy not just the camera component, but the object that the camera component is on in the player prefab that's loaded into the scene. I do the same thing for the Cinemachine state-driven camera that houses all the different virtual cameras for the prefab. I just destroy the whole object and get rid of all the virtual cameras. And boom, I can play as 2 separate players on one server, no problems. And that's the end of that. Now, obviously, and of course, I need to finish syncing animations and start getting the hit, stun, and damage system working for the online multiplayer, but that's for a whole other video. Now, like I've been promising, I want to talk more about the name of the game and why it's important. FLO started out as a game idea with the purpose of pioneering a new type of combat gameplay experience, an experience that I've never had up until this point, and I've played some of the most renowned combat gameplay experiences such as Black Desert Online, Terra Online, Blade and Soul, Super Smash Bros., Soul Calibur, Tekken, the new one that just came out, Naraka, Blade Point. That was a fun game. And I've played ones you've probably never heard of before too, like Elsword. And while those games are all very unique from each other in terms of combat mechanics, none of them have ever really hit that combat game spot for me, and have never met what I need to pick it up and never put it down. Honorable mentions to Smash Bros. And Elsword, because I still play those, but even they do not quench my combat thirst like I would like them to. In order for my combat thirst to be quenched, I need 3 things working in tandem. Combos. While games that are just stick and run or stick then wait and anticipate are always fun, don't get me wrong, combos are the light of my life. Any kind of game that focuses on combat, that facilitates attacking and landing its hits in quick or consecutive succession is a winner in my book. Secondly, right, I need strategy though, alright? So now, while hack and slash games are cool, bro, please don't give me that press A to win-ish, alright? I don't need that. I need there to be a reason why I'm pressing A versus pressing B or X. Why am I pressing B in this circumstance rather than pressing X? And the third thing I need, this is one of the most essential ones, monetization. Let that sink in for a little bit. I need monetization. Okay, so this one I know is going to need a lot of explanation. I'll talk more in grand detail about this requirement in another video, but the central reason why I don't play games all day is because monetizing that is an uphill battle, and that's not sustainable for myself and a lot of people. Think about it. If you could play your favorite fighting game without having to go through the trouble of setting up a Twitch, YouTube channel, what have you, and work hours and hours building up a solid platform of quality content to make money, you'd probably be playing that game right now instead of watching me, because having fun and making money is way better than watching my videos. The problem about that is, though, there's no game that provides a way to do that, and that's why you're sitting here watching my videos. All of this together is what will make it possible for me to play a game with no remorse. And no game right now offers all three of those things together. The FLO franchise is the solution to that. In this video, I'm going to focus on the combo and strategy part of this solution. The monetization part is going to be its own video. The combo and strategy experience of this game is going to be something I call tactical combo action combat. The core of this experience will be what I call the FLO meter. So the name of the game, FLO, flow, is important. The FLO meter's purpose will be to facilitate a state of flow, which in psychology is a mental state of being fully immersed in the activity at hand. The FLO meter will, as a whole, represent competency. In this game's case, it will be the competency of using the game's combat mechanics to deal damage. What are the combat mechanics in question, you ask? Well, like I mentioned in the very first video covering the inspiration of FLO, the mechanics are going to involve a buff and debuff system. Buffs and debuffs that the player can apply to themselves or the enemy using attacks and or skills. And these attacks and skills, in many cases, combo into one another. However, don't just slash away and try to combo your enemies forever. Some attacks are ineffective to some enemies. Other attacks even benefit some enemies, so you'll want to choose which attacks you use wisely. While this may seem like a complicated concept, there are many ways it can be simplified. Maybe some enemies are not affected by some strings of attacks, or maybe some enemies are weakest when attacked by a certain string of attacks. And so maybe you want to choose what combos you use wisely. Let me clarify. Combo sets. The combo and strategy experience could be best executed if the game is designed to reward the use of a set of attacks rather than just a specific attack. So for a very basic example, a player could do the most damage to a fire enemy with water attacks. And once a player uses a certain set of water attacks in quick succession in any order, the player's water attack power will increase and points will be added to the FLO meter. After killing several fire enemies, the player reaches the fire mob boss and then uses the now full FLO meter to increase the damage of all attacks, maybe. The goal is to have the result of combo sets, skills, and the FLO meter be an experience as close to pure immersion as possible as the player learns how to build the FLO meter and use it to its best potential. And that's why the name FLO is very important. And so is the fact that I've now got working multiplayer. That's all I got for this video now.